to welcome you on behalf of Affinity Foundation.
Thank you for joining us today, and I hope to see you again at our future events.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mary Crock, and I'm here to welcome you on behalf of the Affinity Foundation. My first task is to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet. We also come, Joellen, Professor Joellen Riley and myself, we come from a university that is on the same traditional lands. In fact, the meeting place for Sydney University was a traditional place of learning for the Gadigal people. And we are making big efforts at the moment, university, to try and improve our relationship with the traditional owners of the land. So it is a very important task, I think, for all of us to acknowledge and pay our respect to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and indeed our respect to anybody who is present or watching this video, that we pay our respects. So this is another fantastic Affinity lunchtime talk. It's the beginning, however, of a new series that we're running this year, which I find quite exciting. I'm a Professor of Law at the University of Sydney, and I am a member of the Affinity Advisory Board. For those of you who haven't been to an Affinity event before, I want to briefly say something about the organisation, and we're going to show you a short video also to introduce it. It was formed by a group of young Muslim Australians in the year 2000 with the aim of promoting multiculturalism and fostering intercultural, interfaith dialogue by building bridges between different groups in society. I'm actually an immigration lawyer by trade, but if anything is in my DNA, it is the belief that our society is a truly great one because of all of the people we have welcomed here from every end of the earth, and that today we are learning to allow those people to continue to be themselves and to bring their rich cultures and traditions to enrich in our own culture. So, if I may, to begin to give you a little bit of an idea of the work that Affinity does, we put together a video of everything they did in 2017. Can I acknowledge while I'm here, Amat Polat, who I think is a relatively new director up here, but his energy leaves all of us gasping. And I think you'll see why very shortly. This is what he did last year. Thank you.
Everyone's responsibility.
Australia is a warm, welcoming, open country.
Having respect for all people, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of gender, and very, very importantly, regardless of the colour of a person's skin.
People of all kinds are seeing the differences, I think, a little more clearly.
For me, it's about returning to the lived experience that people have on race and ensuring that we live up to the best of our traditions as a country.
The culture that they set will be the culture they inherit.
To be able to share more information, whether it's intelligence or case management material, whatever it is, faster and better.
In addition, the Department of Social Services is working closely with other departments like Employment, Education and Training, Human Services and Immigration and Border Protection on improving employment outcomes for humanitarian entrants.
And this has got to be the largest number that we've had here.
The night is about you and us
and as a community.
Learning from each other, that's what Australia allows us to do.
We are working together to make New South Wales safer. In fact, we have done that for many, many years.
As we've come from so many other lands that we were able to meet here as one.
We are the most culturally diverse country in the world.
We all learn a little bit more about ourselves and about our community.
Ramadan is that time of year that Muslims go deep. They reset the clock, take extra time to consciously reflect on their lives and reaffirm their commitment to God and to the precious bonds that connect us all as family and brothers and sisters in humanity.
Courage, dedication, mateship, a sense of fairness.
What we have seen and experienced by words and music this evening are the sort of things that hold us together and enable us to move forward together.
Thank you for joining us today, and I hope to see you again at our future events. Thank you so much.
So you'll see last year we had as a bit of a theme the Human Rights Commissioners and human rights. This year, interestingly, we're going to have a series of lunchtime talks bringing in the leaders of the law teachers in Australia. And so today it's my great privilege to host a discussion between my Dean, Professor Joellen Riley, who has been actually personally a friend of mine for many years, but as my leader, a respected colleague who is loved for the support that she shows for all of her little worker ants who work for you. And Professor Michael Adams, I'm going to tell you a little bit about both of them. Professor Joellen Riley is my Dean and Professor of Labour Law at the University of Sydney. And she holds degrees in law from the Universities of Sydney and Oxford. And she's been teaching and researching in the field of employment and industrial law since 1998. Joellen actually joined academia from a career in journalism originally, but she also worked for a short time in commercial legal practice. And she served as consultant to specialist employment legal law firms, including People and Culture Strategies in Sydney. She is, in my view, the leading labour lawyer in Australia. I know it doesn't say that in here, but I'm telling you that as an editorial comment. Her publications, including her Federation Press book from 2005, Employee Protection and Common Law, and the Oxford University Press, The Law of Work, 2005, 2007 and 2011, are really regarded as the leading text in Australia. So I think we're very privileged to have her come and talk to us today about ethics and future lawyers. Now, Professor Michael Adams, I've also known for quite some time too. He's a specialist in corporations law and global corporate governance, and has expertise in financial services regulations, the security markets, insider trading and things like that, as well as, like Dean Joellen, in the broader areas of legal education and technology. Professor Adams was the Dean of Western Sydney Law School from 2007 to 2017, which in my mind makes him a super dean.
A has-dean, I think.
Oh yeah, well, I'm married to a has-dean. There's nothing wrong with has-deans. 10 years is a long time to last, so that is... And also I think the challenges of the University of Western Sydney, which has such a huge collection and diversity, is going to make, I think, this discussion today extremely interesting. You also have published 12 books. It says 35 chapters and more than 100 articles. Overachievers, these people. Anyway, but also has just come off an 8-month world lecture tours, so very interesting. So it gives me a great pleasure to turn the microphone over